stop studying English the way you are studying it now. Not because you are lazy, not because you are not intelligent, but because this way of studying keeps you busy without making you free when you try to speak. Many people do not like to hear this, but sometimes the truth needs to sound uncomfortable.
That is a strong message, Emma. Some listeners may feel attacked.
I understand that, but my goal is not to blame anyone. My goal is to help people stop blaming themselves for a problem that comes from the method, not from them.
Let's start with something very real. Many people say, I watch videos, I use apps, I listen to podcasts, but when I need to speak, I freeze. Why does this feeling last for years for some learners?
Because most of what they do is passive. They receive English, but they do not produce it. And the brain learns production only through production.
So understanding creates an illusion of progress.
Yes, exactly. You feel progress because you understand more, but speaking needs a different type of progress.
Do you think school education plays a role here?
A very big role. In school, we learn that language is something we must analyze, explain, and perfect. But real language is messy, fast, and imperfect.
So people keep the student mindset.
Yes, they wait for permission to speak correctly, but real life never gives that permission.
Let me share a real situation. Someone works in an international company. They understand emails, reports, meetings. But during meetings, they rarely speak. After the meeting, they say, I knew what to say, but I couldn't say it. Why does this happen?
Because their English lives only in their head. Meetings need fast reactions, not perfect sentences. When you never train speed and reaction, your brain chooses silence.
Let's slow this down. What exactly happens in the brain when someone wants to speak?
The brain starts checking many things. Is this word correct? Is the grammar okay? Will they understand me? Will they judge me? All these questions appear in seconds.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. That is why the brain sometimes says, let's say nothing.
Many learners say, I just need more time. What do you think about that idea?
Time helps only if the action changes. If you wait while doing the same things, nothing new happens. Speaking improves only when speaking becomes normal, not special.
People often compare themselves to fluent speakers. How does that affect learning?
It hurts confidence a lot. People forget that fluent speakers were once beginners too. They see the result, but not the process.
And they feel small.
Yes, and that feeling makes speaking even harder.
Let's move from work to social life. Parties, trips, casual conversations. Why do people feel even more pressure there?
Because social situations feel personal. If you make a mistake at work, you can say it's professional stress. But socially, mistakes feel like personal failure.
So people avoid speaking.
Yes, and avoidance becomes a habit.
Many learners say, I forget words when I need them. Is memory the real problem?
Usually, no. Words are remembered better when they are connected to real situations. If you only see words on a screen, your brain has no reason to keep them active.
Let's be practical. What does effective speaking practice look like?
It looks simple and sometimes boring. Talking to yourself, answering imaginary questions, repeating the same ideas in different ways. This builds automatic reactions.
Many people stop because they feel uncomfortable. How should they see this feeling?
As a sign that something new is happening. Comfort means repetition of old habits. Discomfort means change.
So, some learners say, I don't feel like myself in English. Why is that? I like that.
Because language is part of identity. When you speak badly, you feel smaller than you really are. But this feeling disappears when speaking becomes familiar.
Is it better to practice a lot in one day or a little every day?
A little every day. The brain trusts routines, not sudden effort. 5 minutes daily is stronger than one long session a week.
Why do so many people give up after years?
Because they confuse slow progress with no progress. If you don't notice small wins, you think nothing is happening.
When we talk about all of this, I think it's important to say one thing very clearly. This problem is not about talent, it's not about intelligence, and it's definitely not about being bad at languages.
Yes! For most people, it's simply about learning English in a way that feels safe, but does not prepare them for real life. They do what feels comfortable, not what actually helps them speak.
And comfort can be very dangerous because it can keep you in the same place for years without you really noticing it. You feel busy, you feel like you are doing something, but deep inside, you know that when it's time to speak, nothing really changed.
That's why we wanted to talk about this today. Not to say you are doing everything wrong, but to say you are not broken. If you understand English but can't speak it, there is nothing wrong with your brain.
There is just a gap between what you practice and what you want to be able to do, and that gap can feel very frustrating.
But the good news is this. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You only need to start using English in small, real, imperfect ways.
And maybe you won't feel confident tomorrow. Maybe you won't feel confident next week. But one day, you will notice something small. You answer faster. You think less. You feel less afraid of silence.
So if you don't want to miss these kinds of conversations, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
And if this episode was helpful for you or reminded you of your own experience, don't forget to like the video. It really helps this channel grow and reach more learners like you.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.